This week in censorship, James O'Keefe got banned from Twitter permanently. You may recall back in February, Project Veritas's account got banned after they confronted a Facebook executive. And this week they've been dropping some bombshell reports showing a CNN director admitting that the network is, quote, propaganda, his words, that they're dedicated to taking down Matt Gaetz because they see him as a rising Republican, very influential with the big future ahead of him. And the straw that broke the camel's back was a video showing that director admitting that the network is specifically not reporting on the widespread anti-Asian hate crimes that are being carried out by black people, which are the vast majority of the perpetrators in these anti-Asian hate crimes which have been happening lately. You're not supposed to talk about those kinds of facts out loud because it hurts the liberal agenda, and the ADL literally on their website considers certain statistics about black people and crime to be a numeric hate symbol. Literally just mentioning statistics is considered to be hate speech. Certain people like Candace Owens and Larry Elder actually have the guts to talk about it, but you're not supposed to, especially if you're white. You can't mention statistics. You're also not supposed to talk about the communist co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement just buying a $1.4 million home in a white suburb in Los Angeles. And that was just one of the 4 homes that she just bought. She just spent millions of dollars on homes and is in the process of or is looking at one in the Bahamas. Because when you're a wealthy Marxist activist like that, you gotta store some of your wealth offshore. I'm sure you heard about that story, but Facebook has dumped it down the memory hole and has blocked all links to those stories because it looks really bad when Black Lives Matter has raised tens of millions of dollars to supposedly help black people, and then the woman goes and buys 4 luxury homes and then goes and stashes more millions offshore. Oh, I forgot to mention that James O'Keefe has announced that on Monday he's going to be suing Twitter for banning him because the reason that they gave was that he was supposedly operating a fake account or numerous fake accounts in order to attempt to manipulate the conversation on Twitter. And that's clearly false and defamatory. So he has retained Harmeet Dillon, a very high power attorney, you may see her on Fox News. And on Monday, certainly not wasting any time, James O'Keefe is suing them. I was also told that they're going to be releasing another video today showing in part, at least, them confronting Brian Stelter. And while Project Veritas has done some great work, particularly with this latest Exposed CNN series, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't ask Brian why he blocked me on Twitter. I think it was about 2 years ago now, time flies, when Brian was invited to give a speech at a college about journalism, and Caitlin Bennett and Millie Weaver were there, and then after he was done, he was taking questions, and then they decided to give him nightmares.
Why did you block Mark Dice on Twitter?
First of all, hi.
Hi,
Thank you for asking questions.
Millie Weaver.
Brian.
Yeah.
They're going to kick us out in a couple minutes, but I'm happy to talk.
Okay, sure.
But I do want to say hi to everybody else, too.
Yeah. So, why did you block Mark Dice?
Sometimes I block people because they're trying to gain fame and stature just by making silly jokes and attacks. So it's not worth it.
He already has a big following, though.
Yeah, I'd say he's okay. I think his videos are funny.
You think you like his parodies of you?
I've only watched a couple, but they're pretty funny.
Yeah. Okay, so
Do you get mad at Mark Dice often?
Robert Mueller, what's that?
Do you get mad at Mark Dice often?
I don't.
Why'd you block him?
So, I think.
And then complain to Jack, the CEO of Twitter, that he was bullying you.
Excellent work, ladies. And Brian, I'm watching you. In other censorship news, Chelsea Clinton is demanding that Facebook ban Tucker Carlson for accurately reporting on the vaccines. And Tucker isn't even anti-vaccine by any measure. He's just doing what any good journalist would do, and he's reporting on some of the rare side effects, which you're not supposed to talk about. And I covered this a few weeks ago at the time, and since then Facebook has admitted what was obvious to us, that they have banned anybody from interviewing Donald Trump, period. Well, I guess not period, there is a caveat to that. If Donald Trump were to sit down with a mainstream media outlet for a combative interview designed to attack him, then that would be allowed to be posted. But when Laura Trump, his daughter-in-law, interviewed him for her online show, that was taken down. Facebook admitted nobody's allowed to interview Donald Trump in a positive light. And speaking of admitting the obvious, YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki admitted that their policies manipulating the algorithms and boosting mainstream content has hurt ordinary YouTubers. A policy that's been implemented, by the way, time flies, for almost 4 years now. And finally, somebody asked her about it.
They're also able to, we're able to make sure that they're getting information from sources that are very reliable. But I would say the con of potentially some of these changes, because as you pointed out, every change has some downside, is it may be harder in some cases for channels maybe who are getting started or smaller to be able to be visible when there is a major event or when people are looking at something that is science or news related. But I would say that that's a trade-off that we've made because we've realized that it's really, really important.
Of course, it's not just news and science topics. As you probably know, they've added certain entertainment topics to that list as well to then artificially boost search results when the search results are not favorable to the liberal media industrial complex for certain movies or certain actors or actresses. They've done it for other topics as well, including abortion after liberal bloggers complain about the search results and then those change magically. And also, let's not forget that after MSNBC's Chris Hayes complained about the search results for the Federal Reserve, then they also changed those because one of the top results was a documentary by James Corbett. And now James actually has since totally been banned from YouTube. Dumped down the memory hole, gone. Probably one of the last things the establishment wants people to hear about, I guess other than the actual statistics about race and crime, is the history of money, particularly how fiat currency came to be. Also this week, Sebastian Gorka's channel got completely banned because he kept asking questions about the election that you're not supposed to ask. And I think it was last week now, time flies, that a video that was posted by Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, regarding a panel of doctors discussing easing the lockdowns and getting the kids back to school, that was taken down because the all-knowing overlords at YouTube seem to know better than a panel of doctors having a discussion about what should be done. Also this week, it was discovered that Spotify has removed even more episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast than were previously discovered. And for some reason, Newsweek covered my video talking about the previous episodes when Joe slipped up and admitted that they censored. And he's like, well, I don't even care what they take off. Well, maybe you should care now, Joe, because it looks like they continue to censor more of your show. And speaking of Joe Rogan, he did an interview a few months ago with a guy named Lex Friedman. I don't know how many of you are familiar with him. He's not like a news and politics guy. He's like an artificial intelligence researcher or something. He has 1 million subscribers. It's a pretty big channel. He's had a lot of big names on his channel, like Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, and things like that. So pretty big channel. He interviewed Joe Rogan a few months ago. It just got taken down. And he tweeted out, quote, YouTube took down my conversation with Joe Rogan a few months ago, episode 127 on my podcast. I'm guessing it's an automated system bug and they'll fix it. No, Lex, it's a feature, not a bug. Have you noticed that some of the smartest people in their area of expertise are actually some of the dumbest when it comes to common sense? This guy's like an artificial intelligence expert and he doesn't understand what's happening. And speaking of Susan Wojcicki insulting YouTubers who are making videos in their basement, or their kitchen I may add, let's not forget that half of the contributors on CNN and MSNBC are working from their basement. And here we are more than a year into the lockdown, into the social distancing and working from home, that these amateurs still can't figure out that they can go on Amazon and buy a professional earpiece like this for $15. Sadly, the censorship on these major platforms is only going to continue to get worse. And I got a whole other page of stuff to talk about on my outline, but I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. But just know that when the inevitable comes, if my channel gets banned, find me on Rumble, rumble.com/MarkDice. Only about 60,000 of you have subscribed to me over there, but I'm riding the wheels on YouTube until they fall off. And so just know that if I do get dumped down the memory hole, rumble.com/MarkDice is where I'll be, because I'm not going to go away. I'm certainly not shutting up. And even though sometimes I might not post, and especially with all these other new platforms, we got Gab and Parler and MeWe and Minds and Telegram and all these new, and now Mike Lindell's launching a new one supposedly in a couple days. So even if you don't see me posting on all these different platforms, because sometimes it's exhausting just to keep up and post this over there, post over there, post over there, answer the question. So I'm tempted to just unplug and just focus solely on videos. So just know that I'm not going anywhere, but if the channel disappears, find me on Rumble. I mean, if I keep mentioning statistics about certain things and facts about Black Lives Matter, I mean, my days are certainly going to be numbered. So be sure to support my channel while you can. And this week, get 20% off of any of my shirts from markdice.com by using the promo code MOREJAILS at the checkout. because that's what we need instead of more public housing in order to keep America's streets safe. We need more jails. So one word, more jails at the checkout. Save 20% off of a Cops Lives Matter shirt, a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt, or any of my awesome designs. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.